Welcome to Blue Talks.
Hello, Blue Talks Cambridge. I'm so excited to be here today. So many feelings of overwhelmment come up to me today because when I look at all of you, I see pieces of my family. So I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. And because of the dysfunction in the home, over time, I learned the gift of giving myself space from them. And so now when I go places, I look at people and I go, there's somebody I recognize. There's somebody I recognize. There's a person I recognize, because then that way I'm never alone. So there are three things that I would like to impart with you today. And the third one is an interaction. So I would like you to be able to participate, because it's a gift that I would like to leave with you to help yourself and to help others. The other things that I would like to impart with you is, one is how I learned about geometry and how geometry helped shape my life. And the second thing is about how punctuation helps me with my life every day. And the third one is how I learned the gift of energy and how we need to make that mind-body energy connection. So like Corey was saying in the introduction, I do teach in an addiction program. And primarily I work with youth and young adults. And I always tell them that the number one addiction that you have is in your mind. It's your mindset. Because we're all running from something. And generally that something is a story of an event or a person or a circumstance that was in our life at that time. It was through my upbringing that I learned how to define myself as I'm a hostage negotiator. And I am, but I'm a hostage negotiator of my mind. And we need to know the tools. And so I like to speak and talk to university students about how to do it. What's the action step that you need? So when I grew up, one of the events that shaped my life was being in a root cellar. So I lived in rural Alberta, and my dad had built this makeshift root cellar. So it was just really a heap of dirt. There was a door in it, and there was about 3 or 4 stairs that went down that door, went down to that floor. So on this particular day, I don't really remember why I needed to go there, but I did. And I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I think I was probably going there to get some vegetables, even though primarily my dad used it for alcohol. So he liked to make his own alcohol, and he would store it in there, and there would be this odor of fermenting. So the day that I was going there, I made sure that I propped the door open a little bit. And as I started going down those steps, the door closed behind me. And it was pitch black. And I sat down on that step immediately. And I thought, what am I going to do? Because I had this felt sense that the door was locked and I was trapped. But the most important thing that I learned was it was not the door that was trapping me. It was not the darkness of that space. It was the darkness of my mind. I was trapped in my mind. And the beautiful gift that came from that experience was holding my mind in my hand that day. Being alone and in tune with who I was. And that's the first gift that I learned about geometry, was that all of the experiences in my life showed me that life was not meant to be learned and to be walked in a straight line. It is meant to be done in a spiral. Because as you work on yourself and as you grow, you're coming back to your core belief, to the truth of who you are, before other people tried to shape you differently based on their beliefs and their stories. So that was the first beautiful gift that I learned. And as I sat there, being 6 or 7 years old in the darkness, I started imagining that there was snakes in there, that there was spiders in there, that I would never get out, and that it was dark and nobody would ever find me. And so then I learned, you know what? That's my mind talking. And I am in control of that mind. I'm not alone. And whether we're telling ourselves a story of pain and suffering or a story of joy and happiness, comes from the same place in your mind. And so I learned, you know what? I need to tell myself another story. What if the door does open? What if there's a lot of beautiful experiences on the other side of that door? What if there are no snakes here? What if there are no spiders here? What if I learn how to sit in my own darkness? What if I learn how to be comfortable with being alone? And those were some very important gifts for me. The door did open eventually. I don't know how long I was there, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is being able to tell you the story and the action steps that you can take to release yourself from the darkness of your mind. Because all the experiences here that I'm a privilege to listen to, we were trapped. And you're all finding your way out. And I just feel so blessed to be around with you all. The second really important thing that I wanted to share with you about punctuation is that you can keep yourself in a box by using a period. I'll never be able to do this, period. Do you feel how closed you feel inside when you do that? Try using a comma. A comma is the safety catch. It's the connection to your future. I may never be able to do this task, comma. I wonder who could show me how. Do you feel now how you breathe, how there's an expansiveness within you? So when you're looking at other people and experiences in your life, give them the gift also of not putting them in a box with a period. When you see people, the first thing that you look at, put a comma in their life. Bless them with that comma. Well, that person was so angry to me, comma, maybe they had a bad day, period. And the last thing that I want to show you and help you with is energy. I believe that all of the different experiences that I went through in my life were gifts, and they're wonderful gifts. And I can stand here in this moment today and give love and thanks to the family members who told me that I would never amount to anything. I can give love and thanks to the family members who wouldn't let me be in a picture because they thought I was too ugly. So I know I've done a lot of work, which has helped me create a program for a youth called Black Sheep Academy so that people could be seen, heard, and understood. But in order to do that, we need to know that in order to be seen, heard, and understood, we need to tell the story of us, our true story, where we're coming and where we're meant to go. Because they say that a lot of times when we have a gift and we're going out there to share it with the world, we're really using that gift to continue healing ourselves first. And so in creating that program, I realized that I was giving myself another gift of healing myself through the journey and through the life of living in poverty, abuse, and addictions. The last thing that energy is, and I would really appreciate it if you would participate in this so that you can have an experience of the mind-body connection. I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm trained in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm not going to hypnotize you today. You're already hypnotized. Oh, and now you're probably going to think, wow, how did she do that? Is she that good? No, not really. Oh, I'd like to say, yes, I am, but then I don't want to be a braggart either. Okay? So what I'm going to teach you using NLP and the fact that we are already hypnotized is we have a story, a narrative, a belief. And that belief is a habit. And it becomes a habit because we tell the same thing over and over and over again. So let's dehypnotize ourselves, which is what we're doing. We're learning a new narrative. So if I could get you all to stand up, please. And if you could give yourself a little bit of space between each other, please. And on a scale of 1 to 5, I just want you to feel into your body. Maybe you haven't done this for a while. And I want you to feel how you're feeling right now. And just mentally think about that number. Okay? Now on a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to take an experience in your life, and I want you to keep it at about a 3. Okay, so maybe it's something that's annoying you, like paying a bill, like driving in traffic when you're from the East and you're here in England, okay? And I want you to think about that experience. So I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to think about this experience that's on a scale of 1 to 5 is a 3. Something that's causing you some discomfort in your life, okay? And now through the power of your mind, you're going to allow your dominant hand to move wherever it needs to go on your body. So you can open your eyes right now. And you can see we've all pointed to somewhere else. So where we tell our story energetically is trapped cellular in our body, all right? So now I want you to take that experience, and through the power of imagination, I want you to move it out into the center of your mind. So you'll be able to notice the shift. So bring the experience up to the center of your mind. Okay? Now I want you to take your fingers and I want you to make a box around this experience. Now it has magic handles, so I want you to put a hand on each. And I want you to really notice the mind-body connection. And as you move it out, I want you to notice how you feel inside as you move that experience and that feeling out. It's likely feeling uncomfortable. Now I want you to shrink it. I want you to move it smaller. Do you notice the experience and the feeling inside you getting smaller and smaller and smaller? Make it a postage-size stamp and put it in your pocket. All right? So you notice now how we've taken the experience and the feeling from the inside to the outside, right? So I put it as a postage-size stamp because a lot of people still need it. There's a lesson. So you learn the lesson and you let the rest go. For others, when I'm working with them intuitively, I'll know, you know what, let's put it on an imaginary envelope and let's mail it. And let's be done with that experience. But I like to leave you also with something positive. So you can do this same technique. Now I want you again on a scale of 1 to 5. And now you can go 5. Think about something that brings you great joy in your life. Okay? Great happiness. And again, I want you to put it out in front of you. Put a box around it. Okay? And now if it's joy, let's spread it out. How are you feeling? Do you feel the expansiveness of it? Wrap it around you like it's a cloak. Doesn't that feel great? And I really want you to teach this to youth, to people who are feeling stuck in their moments when they feel that they are running from the thought. Get it first energetically out of their body. Have them do this and have them shrink it. It's a way for them to then be able to be the hostage negotiator of the mind. It gives them that space and the clarity to recognize there's a difference between what I'm experiencing and what I'm thinking. Thank you. My name's Lori.